die? No continues? What were they thinking? It's down and R. There's 4 buttons right in the front of the controller. Look, that's not enough to work with? I got something to blow the lid off the crap barrel. Time to flick the shit switch, turn up the diarrhea dial. It's Bible games on CDI. Yeah. Ain't you a goddamn fucking piece of shit?
Mario, Mario, Mario. There were so many Mario games, it was like an infestation. But what about Luigi? Nobody cared about him. He got shoved to the sideline while his brother enjoyed all the fame. But then came Mario's Missing, the first game to star Luigi. He wasn't good enough to make it into the title, but hey, when this came out, I thought, that sounds like a great idea. But no, it would only further cement the character into an eternal waste. The first thing that happens, we see Mario get a bag thrown over his head. How does he get inside the bag? Is there a hole in the bottom? Why can't he get out? It begs an explanation. Anyway, it's up to Luigi to save him. He comes out riding on Yoshi. Now, it's pretty obvious the graphics are ripped right from Super Mario World, and for the 8-bit NES, it looks quite good, but that only gives you the false impression that this game may be decent. The castle part only serves as a backdrop which takes you to the main game. The main game is walking around a boring-ass town talking to people who don't even look like they belong in a Mario game or a Luigi game. They tell you all about Liberty Island, and that's when it occurs to you, you're playing an educational game.
It's educational? I don't want to be educated. I want to rot my brain. This is Luigi's first game and this is what he gets?
What a piece of shit. The whole concept is that the Koopa Troopas have stolen objects from famous landmarks and you gotta get them back. The Koopa Troopas can't even hurt you. Oh, come on. Come on! You jump on them and collect a money bag. That's it. But it's not a money bag even though it has a fucking dollar symbol. Instead, it's a bag that contains a stolen object. So you gotta find out which famous landmark it belongs to. You know, what's Luigi doing anyway? Isn't he supposed to be rescuing Mario? Why is he in New York City trying to find landmarks? And what do you think that is? Looks like the Empire State Building being gripped by King Kong. Of course, the same ape that was able to climb the building is now big enough to close his hand around it. What's this say? Koopas seem to have gotten clean away with King Kong? Are you telling me you're supposed to return King Kong to the Empire State Building? This blows my mind on so many levels. First of all, how did the Koopas capture King Kong? Second, why is New York City concerned that King Kong was stolen from the Empire State Building? Remember when the planes were trying to shoot him down? Isn't it pretty clear they want Kong off the building? Third, if this is supposed to be an educational game teaching us things that belong to New York City, why in the holy mother of fuck did they choose a giant ape that doesn't even exist? Fourth, the bag. Okay, King Kong is like 50 feet tall or something, but in this game they made him out to be like 1,500 feet. How big is he exactly? Well, if bigger than the Empire State Building isn't a good enough analogy, then let's just say a lot bigger than that fucking bag! And fifth, I can't grasp the concept that King Kong is in a Mario game. The same character that was the direct inspiration for Donkey Kong, who also appeared in games with the Mario character. Are we running into some kind of paradox here, or what? There's sort of like a help desk where you're supposed to return the object or the landmark or whatever, but the lady at the window won't talk to you unless you call Yoshi to come and give you an extra boost. Okay, so are you telling me that the reason that stupid bitch won't talk to you at first is because Luigi is too short to reach the window? For fuck's sake, he can jump higher than this shitting thing. How stupid do they think we are? Use Yoshi to reach the help desk. Well, how about use my greasy Italian plumber cock to whack you across the fucking face? The control is broken beyond belief, and you'd think, how could they fuck up the control on a Mario game? Well, for the most part it's fine, but sometimes when you go to a new screen it gets stuck for a second. God, move! Move! God, what a shitload of fuck! You know what took me a real long time to figure out? How to go up the road. You have to be standing right on the dotted line. If you're just a few pixels off, nothing happens. In contrast, take a look at the Super Nintendo version. It's pretty much the same game, just with better graphics. But here, when you try to go up the road, all you get is the sound of cars blaring their horns. Who the hell's honking at me? Are the cars invisible? Well, anyway, the spot you're supposed to stand is the complete opposite. It's the sidewalk. I guess they were trying to be more realistic with this one. If there's one thing it teaches kids, it's not to walk down the middle of the road. But check it out, now we're in for some fuck. This is Mario's Time Machine. Judging from the title, you'd think it'd be awesome. Imagine Mario going back in time, kind of like Turtles in Time. I mean, no. Let's not even compare that. This is another educational game, and I put that in quotes because it's barely educational and barely a game. How can you call it a game when you can't even die? The idea is to find different objects and return them to their appropriate time period. To find these objects, you walk around a museum, go in a random door, and fight Koopa Troopas in the style of the classic Mario Bros. Arcade. Once you kill them all, the object appears. So once you get the object, you take it to the time machine, conveniently built out of pipes. Choose the time period, and you're on your way. But once you get here and find out you've chosen the wrong time, guess what? You gotta go back and fight the Koopas again. Man, does this become boring. It's one thing to make a shitty Mario game, but when you make the original Mario Brothers seem shitty, that's quite an accomplishment. So right off the bat, you have to associate an object with a year in history. If you go to the time period, you find clues amongst clocks and hourglasses. Wouldn't it make more sense if they gave you the clues before you went to the time period, not the other way around? The next thing you have to do is place the object in a specific spot. The object I have is an apple, the clues are talking about Isaac Newton, and there's a tree. Didn't Newton come up with his theory of gravity from an apple dropping from a tree? Makes sense, so I release the apple, I'm told it's the wrong location, and a bird comes and takes the apple away. So you know what I gotta do now? Go back to the fucking Koopas! But I don't even know what I did wrong. Should I have stood on top of the tree, or was I in the wrong time period altogether? You'll never know unless you run all around the game like a fucking asshole. I'd hate to say it, but there's also a Super Nintendo version. I guess we better take a quick look. Here it lets you pick the object right as the game starts. Then the time machine comes down. But unlike the NES version where you have different dates to choose from, here you have to pick a location, then manually put in a year and BC or AD. So there's only so many possible combinations you can get right. If it's a time and place that's not in the game, you won't find out until first you go surfing. Yeah, this takes the place of the whole Koopa section, but it's even more redundant. What you have to do here is collect 10 mushrooms and then go in a whirlpool. But the mushrooms are so small and you can barely tell them apart from these other things that look like sea urchins. And the sea urchins take your mushrooms away. And worse, there's a fucking time limit. If the time runs out, you gotta do it again. And how ironic is that there's a time limit to go back in time? Then you get to the time period, check out some clues, answer some questions, and more clues and questions, and oh, fuck. Just trust me, it's not too exciting.
You know what? Educate me. Please educate me. Because I'm going through sensory deprivation. I'm so fucking bored I'd rather go back to school than play this shit. I'm aware that there's lots of other Mario educational games, many of which were for PC, but these two on the NES and Super NES lead you to believe that they may be good. They're on the same platform which brought us all the great Mario classics. They feature the same graphics as Super Mario World, and the titles don't even sound educational. They could have been called Mario's Geography and Mario's History Lesson. But educational or not, these games are horrible abominations of space and time that give insult to the very fabric of nature itself. In other words, they suck.